when it comes to automotive innovation, when it comes to success out of the jaws of failure, out of the jaws of death, some may say, you can't really look much further than Japan. Japan, of course, was absolutely devastated after the Second World War. The country was basically wiped off the map. They literally got nuked twice by the United States. Their cities were absolutely wiped clean. And then obviously after the Second World War, they dusted themselves off, got to work, and built their country into what would eventually become the second largest economy in the world, only behind the US. These days, I believe it's the third largest economy in the world, and a large part of that is their manufacturing industry, which absolutely drove the country to massive success by the 60s, 70s, 80s, and even into the 90s. And still to this day, I believe Toyota are the largest automaker in the world. Maybe not in terms of revenue, but definitely in terms of the amount of cars that they output every single year. People have tried to stop them, tried to slow them down. They've put tariffs on them. I remember here in the UK in the 70s, they put massive tariffs, 100% tariffs I think it was, on all Japanese cars imported into the United Kingdom. So what did Japan do? They just built their own factories here. There's Toyota factories, Nissan factories, Honda factories here in the UK, and they're massive employers of people right now. You know, they're some of the most successful car manufacturing plants in the country. You know, our domestic kind of companies just could not compete because they were rubbish. They were rubbish by comparison. You know, they made cars that were not as reliable and cars that cost more. So who the hell would want to buy one of them? All for loyalty and all, but I don't want to be out of pocket doing it. That's basically what happened. So Toyota very much, they have, you know, they've been the biggest ones. They've been the ones who have really driven success and innovation. You know, long before hybrids became so commonplace nowadays, they were making the Prius in the mid-2000s. That was like a decade before they became popular. They were really ahead of the curve. Now, when it comes to electric vehicles, a lot of Japanese automakers, for the longest time, we're not really a fan of them. We talk about EVs a lot here on the channel. They are far from perfect. They still output greenhouse gases, not of course driving around, but of course in the manufacturing processes of them. And also there are things like human rights issues as well. You look at how cobalt is got out of the Congo. Let me just tell you now, that is a very dark, deep rabbit hole that you really are not prepared for if you do go down. It's a bumpy old ride for sure, you know. So, you know, not perfect by any means, but Japan for the most part, not really been too keen on EVs. They thought the future was very much hybrid technology. And I get it, you know, it might be one day. If we get renewable fuels, if we get eco-friendly fuels, hybrids could be the way forward. They could be. Right now, though, EVs very much are the hot topic. They're the things that a lot of manufacturers are making a lot of. And Toyota, they're doing this, man. They're really, really going in on this, right? They have made a 745-mile solid-state battery. Now, for those who are the uninitiated, for those that don't really know too much about electric vehicles, that's a scary distance. That is an incredible range. That is double, over double, in fact, of what even the best electric vehicle really can do. Most EVs nowadays, if you're being really lucky, if you drive very conservatively, you don't drive very fast, you know, and you're just a very efficient driver, you could probably eke out about 300, 350, depending on the electric vehicle, obviously, in terms of the overall mileage. This is double that. This is massive. They have put every automaker, they're very much sweating. And, you know, we brought you a story literally today. I literally recorded just before this one that Japanese automakers, they're really much struggling right now, right in the here and now because of tariffs and things like that. This, though, this could get them out of that rut once again. This could be the next innovation, you know. Japan has had so many innovations when it comes to the automotive sector. Start-stop motors for traffic lights. The hybrids, like I mentioned before. Hydrogen-powered cars as well. I always thought it was Honda, but no, I think Toyota actually, according to this research I've done here, actually made the first hydrogen-powered car. You know, so they are very innovative. They really, really are. When it comes to something like this, if they can do this, if they can mass produce it, and if anybody can, it's Toyota. This will really, really put them on notice. This will make the West, this will make China even sweat a lot. This will make them very concerned. And like I said, to put it into perspective, I believe the first electric vehicle that Toyota made was in 2022. They've only been doing this for 3 years. And they've potentially got a battery technology, a bit of tech with this that could really revolutionize the EV industry. I've spoken about General Motors, I think it was. They made one. They are in the process of making one. There are some reported electric vehicle batteries that can do over 1,000 miles, 2,000 miles. We're yet to see it though. And this is the thing, Toyota, they very much can make this happen very quickly. They're very good at it. So yeah, automakers around the world, beware. The Japanese are coming. Toyota are emerging from the land of the rising sun. What do you make of this, guys? Like I said, this is a big revolution if it does happen. Your thoughts in the comments below about this as always. Like, share, comment, subscribe. As always, guys, have a fantastic day wherever in the world today, and we'll see you very soon.